Thank you, Judge, and thank you all for being here and for inviting us out today to do this interesting conversation about the confusion about the delegate. You know, in 1980, I was fortunate as a young man to be tabbed to serve on the committee that chose the national delegate for my area at the time. And as a very young person, that was a tremendously educational experience to participate in that process. And so it is quite an issue when you do that. I'm here obviously to ask for your support in the runoff. I had a tremendous amount of support, obviously in the election March 1st. We finished well ahead, number one, finished just about a percentage point and a half shy of being that magical 50% plus one vote. So we're very pleased and very honored by the support that I've gotten. I'm very proud of serving as a sheriff for the last 16 years. I've served 4 terms with overwhelming support on each of my elections, and I'm very honored to serve as the sheriff. It's been the greatest honor of my life, truly, to do this for a career. If you've been around a long time, you may remember past 16 years ago, the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office was a tremendous mess. We had all kinds of scandals, all kinds of issues, all kinds of problems going on. We had 2 sheriffs in a row that were very, very controversial. One ended up leaving office after being indicted for a crime. The other one sued the county commissioners, had a huge mess on his hands, and I was recruited by some people that are very respected in the Republican Party to this day to come and try to straighten this out. I believe we've done a great job of that. I'm very pleased with the performance. I am proud of the fact that we run the best, biggest urban jail community in Texas. We have passed our jail inspections for the past 15 years with flying colors. We are held up by the Jail Commission, as I say, as one of the very shining stars of that world. We understand the responsibility that goes with this. This is a huge, huge job. About $120 million annual budget I'm spending of your money. I never forget that your money is my money when I spend your money. When I first took office in 2001, the overtime bill the previous year for the sheriff's office was over $1 million. They spent over $1 million in overtime in 1 year. I completely cut that out within a year. We spent no overtime. We cut that down to nothing. And so I have served honorably. I have served with integrity. I'm proud of the record that I've established. I'm serving, many of you know, asking to serve 1 more term. This will be my final term. I think 20 years in this job is enough for anyone, and I will retire at the end of this term if successful in May. And I certainly appreciate the support I've received so far, and I ask for you to do it 1 more time. Thank you.
Chief Bill Wade. Thank you, Judge. It's an honor and privilege to be here. You know, I started my military career when I was 18 years old. I was in uniform from the age of 18 until just recently in September. At the age of 20, I was leading one of the first anti-terrorist teams in the world with the United States Air Force, and we had worldwide responsibilities. And I've been engaged in leadership since then. And I was one of the youngest chiefs in the state of Texas, appointed at the age of 24. And I'm very proud of my careers in doing that. And today, as I go forward and run for sheriff, one of the reasons I do that is because I believe that we need bold leadership in our community. Our country is in a crisis. There was an Arlington police officer wounded in the line of duty this morning. That was our 3rd peace officer in just a month and a half that's been shot in Tarrant County alone. Not to mention all over the nation. We have a police crisis. We have an issue of failure of relationships and divisiveness in this country that has got to come to an end. And the only way to turn that around is to have bold leaders at all levels out in the community. Washington has failed. We are in the largest urban conservative area in the country. We have got to keep what we've got. And I believe your sheriff should be an ambassador, not only internally but externally out in the community. And I have those relationships, and I have built them over years, not days or weeks, but years. And I also believe that internally that we have right now the 2nd highest turnover rate in the jail in the state. We've got to turn that around. And we've got to empower those people to do their job. Make sure they have the tools that they have it, make sure they have their training that they need, and we can do that, and we can better come alongside some other folks in doing that. I think that as we do that, a little bit about me is I said I was chief at 24. I do have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I have a master's degree from a seminary in Indiana that's not accredited in the state of Texas. You know, those people who did Common Core don't like my degree program. And I'm good with that. But it's a great background and a great Christian background. And I have been involved in the Republican Party since 1980, where I cast my first vote in military uniform for Ronald Reagan. Now, I have to say, it was late in the evening, the rain was pouring down, and they had already announced that he had won by a landslide, but I insisted on voting the first time for him anyway. So we went ahead and got to do that. And as we wind this up, what I would say to you, I was here before I asked for your vote. Then I came and asked for your vote. We had 7 forums planned in the primary. I was at all of them. I was ready to go. My opponent showed up to 1. And I'd ask you to just look at the history and see beyond the history of who's going to show up and who's going to be there when you need them. Because I was there before, and I'll be there after. Thank you for having this, and God bless you.
First question is, how will you prevent escapes from Tarrant County jails?
Well, there has been escapes. They've had 5 escapes from various areas in the jail, including Sallyport, and 1 from the hospital district, and 1 resulted in a carjacking just in the last few years. But what you have to do is that we have some people out there. I think, number 1, we've got to make sure we have the right manpower on the right people. We've got to, as we classify people and size them up, we need to know in movement who's going to be a danger to who. And you know who the best ones to do that are going to be the troops on the ground if they have the profile training to be able to do that. And yes, I did say profile. We all profile, but once they're in jail, it's a matter of actually looking at them. Now, when I served at DWG, we had 1 escape, and we caught him a few hours later. But currently, training, making sure they have the tools. I'm a believer in tasers, because they're good police equipment, and they are medically sound, regardless of what people tell you. The nation agrees, other than Dr. Parawana here in Tarrant County, maybe, but that's okay. And also training in weaponry, and all those things. Thank you. And Merrill says stop. I'll stop. Thank you.
Sheriff, you need the question answered?
No, I'm good. You know, I don't think I have to tell you how I will prevent escapes from the Tarrant County jails, because for 16 years, I prevented escapes from the Tarrant County jails. Certainly, we've had people run from us out in the field. We've had people run from us, but there has not been a single one person that was in custody in a jail in 16 years that has escaped. We run a tremendously secure facility. A few years back, we built a maximum security jail that was direly needed. I said then, I say now, Tarrant County became a safer place the day we built that jail. It is the only maximum security jail that is a county jail, as far as I know, in the state of Texas and maybe even in the country. And so we take our protection of you, the citizens, and the people on the street and our staff tremendously seriously. You know, you hear that term thrown around that we've had a high turnover rate. You know, that is not per capita turnover. We run the 3rd biggest jail in the state of Texas. So yeah, we do lose some people because of that, but the economy works in reverse against us. The better the economy, the more turnover anybody in this world is going to have. So I'm very proud of my record of keeping the jail safe. Thank you.
Okay, next question. The sheriff's office, or the office of sheriff, is the highest elected official in Tarrant County and in the state of Texas. This office has great power and responsibility. Many sheriffs from across our state and across our country have spoken out boldly and publicly on significant and high-profile issues. What is your view on the Tarrant County Sheriff's role in making strong public statements? You're going to be first.
Thank you. I believe our sheriff should be a bold leader. I think they draw lines in the sand as far as immigrations. Part of the failure of Washington is not doing that. You know, one of our ships were buzzed by MiGs just recently. Several times, we did nothing. We drew a line in the sand in Syria, did nothing. Sheriffs need to be out in front on issues. They need to be talking about, for instance, this police crisis. That how do we do that? How do we head off our Ferguson? How do we head off our Baltimore? We do that again by building relationships. You talk to chiefs out there, you talk to those folks out there, and they will tell you that's exactly what we need to be doing. And we do that by bold statements. That's a bully pulpit that can be used to better this. It's just like in regards to our own conservative republics here, is the sheriff needs to be a bully pulpit along with our conservative candidates, so that we keep a stronghold of representatives in this country, this state, to ensure that we got good representation in Austin. and be able and willing to go to Austin. I've been in Austin many, many times, and I've testified on many, many bills in regards to things that I think that are true. Thank you.
I certainly, for my entire career, have believed that sheriffs need to be upfront and outspoken. I've walked the walk and talked the talk. I am never bashful about talking about what needs to be talked about. I was last year invited and gave testimony in front of a state house committee on immigration, because Tarrant County is a county that does immigration right. We don't have that issue here in Tarrant County that other counties have. I was called to testify to say this is how it's done. I was criticized greatly for speaking out so strongly in the recent Ethan Couch case, the affluenza case. People said, you don't need to be out front talking about that. I was the only one speaking for the victims. There was a terrible miscarriage of justice by our judicial system. The victims and the families that remain had no voice, and I was the one that was out front saying justice needed to be done. Ethan Couch today sits in that maximum security jail I built, partly because we were out front with MAD Mothers Against Drug Driving, who stood next to me and publicly thanked me for the stance I took, and I have been very, very vocal on every issue across the board.
You're still in there.
Okay. Again, thank you for being here. Personally, I don't get to talk about myself too much, and as someone said, it's not a comfortable thing, but I am very proud of the record I have, but personally I'm proud also. I've been married to the same wonderful woman for 30 years. We have 3 children and now 2 grandsons. My children are all grown and on their own. I've got 2 of them that I'm still trying to get off my payroll. I'm sure some of y'all can relate to that as parents, but we're very pleased. My wife taught 30 years in the Mansfield School District, and is still teaching 3 days a week at our church school. We are very active in our church. I'm a deacon there at the church here that I attend in Arlington. I'm very proud of my civic involvement that I've had throughout the years, and some of you may know, I think it's important that we all have a life away from the world of law enforcement. Law enforcement can chew you up and spit you out, and I'm very blessed and fortunate on fall Saturdays to spend time in some of the greatest football stadiums in the world, officiating Big 12 football on the weekend. So I'm very honored to do that and very honored to serve. Thank you.
Well, it is an honor to be here. My wife Laura is here, and of course a member of your club, and we have 9 children, and I say that more as a prayer request than anything. But the lower 7 are adopted, and we're heavily involved in adoption operations and ministries, and we're going to continue doing that as trying to rescue these kids. As I come before you today to ask for your continuing support, I think there's some things, just like we talked about. Escape, that's a noun. When somebody runs out of the Sally Port and runs away from you at transportation, I kind of think that's an escape. And that we have had other issues in the jail. We just paid out $350,000 here a couple of years ago on a wrongful death, where they misclassified somebody and he ended up unfortunately dying in jails. And those things have happened. So there is some things that have gone on internally. But today, I think we need bold leadership. And I've been involved in the civics, and you people have seen me. I've been out here, and I'll continue being out here. And we'll continue doing what we need to do to keep us conservative, but also have those relationships in the community and promote other things like kid welfare that needs to be done. And yes, ma'am, I'll stop. Thank you.